tool that you can use when you're going, hey, I want to know how to do this. You can learn in W3 schools, you can learn HTML, you can learn CSS, JavaScript, SQL, Python, Java, PHP, and other types of things, okay? So you can learn, again, C or C++, C Sharp, Bootstrap, React, MySQL, and there's a lot more stuff on this list. A ton of things to learn here. So if I have questions, I typically ask Google, but Google usually sends me to W3 schools. For example, something I wanted to figure out earlier in my career with borders was how to compound border shorthand. And you'll notice in some of my stuff I do this border. I say what the size is. I want it to be solid. I want it to be red. You can have different types of things. You've got border width, you've got border style, border color. Well, all of these are actually being compounded into this one single border attribute right here. Okay, so if I were to come in here and say I want border sides, I want to see what I can do here. Did you know you can actually mix and match some of these? Okay, you've got border solid, border color, you've got all of these things being added together. All right, so it's a great place to come in and see all these attributes. Here you just go to borders, you've got solid, you've got something on the bottom, you've got rounded borders, you have a blue border on one side. Of course, they're doing a background color here. It's great for an alert. So these are ways you can do this, and this is kind of what these look like. All right, like for example, you can even mix these borders. What does that look like? Well, click that and go check it out. Look at the code. It's a great place to come in and try them out yourself. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here to CodePen, and I'm going to drop something in based on something that I saw over there. I'm going to create a border bottom. I'm going to make it solid. I'm going to do it as 1 pixel, solid, and I'm going to make it, in this case, since the background color is C, I'm going to change the letters so that I get a slightly different color. I'm going to make it 3s. All right, and I'm going to end that with a semicolon, and you'll notice that I get I should get a border down here at the bottom of it. Let's try making it 2 pixels so it's a little easier to see. Okay, did I spell all that correctly? Border bottom. Here, let me try this. I think I may have put a wrong character in somewhere because that looks different slightly. So you see here I've got this border at the bottom. It's a little bit thicker, and it separates my header from from the rest of the content. You know, I could even remove that background color altogether. All right, so that's a thing you can do to change up various table data. All right, I want to show you one more thing. So let's say, for example, I've got a grade in here that's a failing grade. What would a failing grade be? I don't know. Let's just say a 47% would be a failing grade. Well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to find my 47%, and I'm going to go, you know what? That's a failing grade. Do you think failing grades would be in the same color as every other grade? I don't think so. So let me show you a way where we can come in and select this specific component, this specific grade, and call it out and give it a different color. So we're going to do a different type of styling. You notice that in my styles up here, when I'm calling out an HTML element, I just call out the element TD, or in this case the TR, and I give it a different attribute that I want to call out to it. So none of these are specified classes. They are classes that are tied to the HTML element. Well, now I'm going to create a new class that I can call out individually. So in this case, I'm going to put the period in front of it, and I'm going to say the word failing. Let's just say the word fail. And again, I'm going to put my curly brackets there, and I'm going to do color is, and I'm going to make this red, FF zeros. And, okay, well, that didn't change it. Why did it not change this content? Let me show you how you then refer to this here. Now, in this class, these are classes. They're classes. That doesn't need to be there. I'm just putting that there so you hear the word. We're going to go down and find the 47%, and I'm going to call out class equals, with my quotes, fail. Okay? And you're going to notice that that one turns bright red. Wait a second, I thought there was a period there. Whenever you call out the class, you leave out the period. Whenever you declare the class, you have to start a class with a period. Okay? So with this, we could do other things, like we could make the font weight bold, and you'll notice that now this 47% is bold. We can impact the font size is 3 rem. Now it gets larger, to call attention to it. So what is it that you could do with that? Maybe something we could do is we could impact all of our grades and make them centered. So how would we do that? We would create another class called grades. Okay, we'd start with our curly brackets. We would return to make it so that it is gives us a clean view of the code. And I'm going to remember our attribute text align, center. All right, again, grades is not on any of these. So we have to come in and we're going to go down to our code. We're going to find all the TDs that are grades, and we're going to go class equals grades. All right, so now I come in and I change all of my classes to grades. Whoa, it was a little feisty. And I'm going to do this quickly in Sublime so that you can see it quickly. Again, I go into every single one of these TDs. So I'm going to find every one of these TDs that has a grade inside of it, and I'm going to change it to grade. So I'm going to do that in a different application real quick and then paste it over so you can see it, because I need to do something else. I'm going to remove the class fail because I'm going to do something with that here in just a moment. And then class grades one more time. So I'm going to copy and paste this over here. You'll see some of them take that new attribute. All right. So these two up top are the ones where I've been able to accomplish that. But wait a second. Remember, I've got a failing grade here. I want that to be red. So how do I do class grades and get class equals fail? Simple. You go into the class, you add a space, and then you add the second class you want to add. You can stack these classes. Now your class stylings can conflict, and it's going to choose the first one or the second one as the primary. Here we're saying, look, my fail is the color, the weight, and the font size. Grades just aligns it. So what happens if I create my font size in grades as well to be something else? So you're going to see it change here in just a second. Let's change it to 1.5. All right, you're going to see that the grades all get heavier. Well, grades is first in our where we're doing this. So grades seems like it's coming in first. So let's come back in here and do fail and then grades, and maybe it'll choose the size. Nope, where one of them overrides, it chooses the one that is last in the stack. So if I took these and swapped them in order, you're going to see that now the size is overridden because that's the last thing in the stack. All right, so order has something to do with it. All right, so what I want you to do is come in here and I want you to start styling these things. Remember, we've got things we can do with aligning individual items. We can align and change out stuff in these. Like we could actually say we want this to be class equals names or name. All right, well, if it's class equals name, I've got to then come up here and declare it as a style. So dot name, and now I'm going to say color is 21, 21, 21, and there we go. So now as we come in, we see that Sandra has changed to a black color text. We've got our grades are in this kind of golden brown color, unless it's a failing grade, where it is highlighted in red and larger. And the reason why it's larger is because where the one is last that declares that size larger, the last one in the stack is the one that impacts it, because that's the one it says it thinks is more important. So try that out. I think you can take each of these grades and make it look like a grade reporting sheet. And that is what I want you to do, is to make this look like the best possible grade reporting sheet you possibly can for a class.